Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast, episode number 175. As I just realized I forgot to open up this little program right here. My name is Jeffrey Powers, and you are watching me in beautiful 720p. Yes, 720p. We're going to give this a try and see what happens. We got a lot of great stuff, including the Dell Windows 7 tablet. Possibly there's a rumor mill of the iPad coming out. The iPad's coming out? No way, there's an iPad coming out? That's crazy. AOL buys the Huffington Post. All this and a whole lot more. This is the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. I once again use that usual scrubby, so let's get started on the internet. Let's go.
Welcome to Geekazine, a weekly audio magazine for the geek in all of us. Now, here is your host, Jeffrey Powers.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you very much for coming. I just realized I haven't turned on a camera. Hold on a second. There, that's better. I had to turn a light on so you could see me in a little bit of betterness and go from there. My name is Jeffrey Powers. How you doing? Welcome to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. And I got to turn this on. Hold on a second. There we go. We got the audio now recording. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. My name is Jeffrey Powers. If this is the first time that you've come to the show, well, thank you very much for coming to the show. You are now watching me in beautiful 720p. Yes, I'm trying this out. We're giving this a try. Before, with Wirecast, I've been keeping it as low as possible and 480. But I decided, well, let's do 720. Let's see if we can pull this off and go from there. So you'll be able to watch me in standard formats, except I'll look a lot thinner. I'll look like that. Anyway, and of course you can hear me on the show. All you have to do is download the podcast, go over to Geekazine, subscribe to the show notes, and you will be able to get it via your feed burner for your Zune, your iTunes, over at Tech Podcast. We're a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network, which I didn't do that part. Watch this. We're a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. Go over to techpodcast.com to find out more. And that's that. You can also get it over on blueberry.com and stitcher.com. And, of course, if you go over to Geekazine, that's Geekazine, Geekazine.com. That will get you to there. Let's see if I can get the right screen here. Here we go. Geekazine.com. You can find all the cool stuff there. We've been doing a whole ton of CES stuff. The latest video is a company called Cell Control. Basically, it's pretty cool. It's what they're doing is they're blocking your cell phone signal by using the car. It is basically a dongle in the car, and then this is mostly for fleet vehicles. But you put this thing in the car, and apparently it blocks cell phone signals. It was a pretty interesting video. You can check that out. Dan Tech History, my first computer keyboard from Atari. So if you remember Atari, they had an add-on for the Atari that turned the 2600 into a computer, which was pretty cool. So, and that's over at geekazine.com. You know, it's been a wild and wacky week, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for putting up with me in these last few weeks. This week I am going to have a 5 tech things you should know. I haven't been it's been a month, and I need to start catching up on that. But then we're gonna once we get all the CES interviews done, which will be at the end of this week, and then at next week, what will happen is I'm going to reissue everything through the RSS feeds. So we're going to go from the beginning again, and we're going to do it one more time, which is cool. So you'll be able to see, and everything will be on an hour. So for the next 10 days after that, you will see videos. But before I put out those again, on Monday and Tuesday, I'm going to put out 3 videos from a thing that I did. Talked to some people dealing with over-the-top television, OTT. You're going to have to check that out. One of the names I've got here, one of the people is John Myers, and we're talking about OTT, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So don't miss that. That's going to be early next week. We're going to put those videos out. And, of course, the 5 tech things you should know about will be out there. We're going to do some reviews. We've got we just got the phone, or I just got the phone. I always say we. I don't know what I just got the phone for Altiva. Now, we're working with Microsoft, and we're showing people how unified communications can work with small business. And basically, setting up your business phone and business line in the cloud. So what I did was I installed Office 2010 on the laptop. Haven't installed it on the desktop, and the reason why is because by installing Office 2010, I have to get rid of some of the programs. And yeah, I know you're probably going to cringe for a second here, but ladies and gentlemen, I still use Front Page. Not as much for what you think. It's just a tool that I'm very familiar with, and I like it. It feels comfortable. It's like an old shirt. I put it on and I do it. If I upload the files with Front Page, and I just noticed my collar wasn't right. Let me fix that. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so I use that simply because of the fact I felt comfortable with it, and now. With Office 2010, I'm going to lose that functionality of Front Page because Front Page is 32-bit and Office 2010 is 64-bit, and it's kind of sad. But I lost Front Page on my laptop, and now I'm going to lose it on my desktop if I move to Office 2000. So I haven't done that. But anyway, Altiva, they got us the phone, and I plugged the phone. It was very, very simple. It was pretty much all set up. It went through some initiation and set up and download some extra files. Boom, my phone was ready. I made a phone call. The phone number, just so you know, 608-205-4731. Very, very close to 608-205-4378. 4731 is the number. So, and we're going to have that for the next month. So I might just have you guys call in on that. We might do a couple call-in shows. So that'll be kind of cool. So, what else is going on in the world? I broke my truck. Okay, get this. We had, of course, Geek Blizzard 2011. You remember that from last week. I was driving home. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I drove into my driveway. Turned in my driveway, which, of course, the snowbanks are like 10 feet high right now. And I thought both sides were shoveled enough, but I also gave it a wide berth. So I swung around it so I could approach the into the driveway straight on. However, something happened, and I know I barely just touched the snow, but all of a sudden I heard a loud crack like that. And I was like, well, what the heck is going on here? I got out of the car, and I noticed my front bumper cover on my driver's side was just cracked. And it's like, there's no way in God's green earth I cracked that on that. But apparently maybe with the cold, I don't know. But that's what's happening right now. I have a car that's got a small little damage on it, so I gotta figure out how I'm gonna repair it. So it's a small repair I didn't expect to get, but now I have it. Now I'm gonna have to deal with it. So if you have a front bumper cover for a 2002 Chevy Trailblazer, I'm more than willing to accept that. If you want to send it off to me, go over to geekazine@gmail.com and let me know, and I'll give you my address so you can send it to me. Just thought. If anybody out there has it, just bumper cover just sitting in the back, maybe, possibly. Anyway, still working on going to South by Southwest. I haven't heard anything about the press badge. If I get the press badge, I will be making plans, and I'll figure a way down there. I will figure a way down to South by Southwest. So, I am going down to Iowa this weekend. Going to be at the Mystique Casino with the band, and we're going to be playing. So if you're in the Iowa area, come on down and check us out over at Mystique Casino. So, and then of course, like I said, everything is in 720p. Let me know what you think. I'm looking at this video. I'm wondering if it might be a little bit too dark, and I might just fix that halfway through the show. We'll see what happens. So, anyway, let's get in sponsors. Let's get going because we got a lot to do, and I still have a whole ton of videos. Like I said, by the end of this week, all the CES video will be done, and then we'll put it into a replay mode from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know anything about domain names, if you just need to get a domain name, and if this is the first time that you have ever gotten a domain name, then we got a special offer for you, 25% off on your first order over at GoDaddy.com. They have the .coms and the .cos at $11.99. So if you can get shared hosting I do shared hosting for 1 year is about $100 with certificate, SSL certificate, and it fills my need. And then you get that additional 25% off on your first order. That's like $25. So like get like 1,000 domain names, .info names, .us names, and then get the 25% off if you're a new time customer. CES25. You have until the end of this month to use this code CES25. And that's over at GoDaddy.com. How many of you saw the Super Bowl commercial with, well, we won't talk about the new GoDaddy girl. That was kind of scary a little bit, I think. But when it got to that point, we all knew it was going to be something. And at first, I thought it was going to be Betty White. I thought Betty White was going to be the new GoDaddy girl. But when it turned out to be Joan Rivers, I just, whoa. Anyway, that's over at GoDaddy.com. Oh, I hope I never see that picture again. Luxor Hotels. If you're going to Vegas, get to the point, stay at the point. That's the point. The point is Luxor. Rooms start at $40 a night. In fact, I'm thinking Blog World's going to be coming up in October. I'm already making plans. I'm thinking of getting rooms there. And since it's right next door to the Mandalay Bay. Mandalay Bay is really good. Don't get me wrong. And of course, it's all the same MGM property, but Luxor has lower rates, and I need to kind of figure out how much I'm going to pay to stay there. And all I really need is a room. I don't need anything else. I don't need really cool amenities. And Luxor does have cool amenities. I mean, we have flat screen TVs, we had a refrigerator, we had a microwave, we had a coffee maker, and a Bose system in there. So rooms start at $40 a month. You can check that out over at Luxor.com. Of course, go to Geekazine.com, click on the link, and that'll take you to the Luxor advertisement to your great deal. Download and listen to a free audiobook over at audiblepodcast.com/CES. Audiblepodcast.com/CES. You can listen to some great books. They got some great stuff coming out now. I like to read and listen at the same time. Of course, if you've watched the show, you know that that's what I normally do with my audiobooks, is to follow along and read, because then I can focus a little bit more on the book, and it's great. I do a lot of reading of help books and stuff like that, like 7 Habits and guerrilla marketing and stuff like that. I love that type of stuff. So they've got tons of stuff, including, they even have podcasts over at audible.com. But you can read magazines, you can read books, you can read just about anything in their library. 14-day free trial. You can also download it onto your iPhone, and you can get a whole bunch of great books there. 14-day free trial and a free audiobook of your choice when you sign up now. That's over at audiblepodcast.com/CES. All right, Mozy has changed their price plans, so listen up. You still get that 10% off by using the code GEEK. 10% off by using code GEEK. But they changed their price plans a little bit, and it goes a little bit something like this. $5.99 for 50 gigs. And I think it's $9.99 for 125 gigs. And you get 1 month with a 1-year plan. You get 1 month free. With a 2-year plan, you get 3 months free. So basically, what you want to do is you want to back up now, back up often, back up offsite, back up everything in your My Documents area, and that's just basically your Word doc, your Excel docs, and stuff like that. You can download some or upload some videos, but if you had the unlimited plan, you still have the unlimited plan until your unlimited plan runs out, and then you'll be moving over here. But this is still a great plan. They got a lot of great programs inside Mozy Home, including the fact that you can back up on-site as well as off-site, back up to an on-site USB drive. That's a great feature right there. So you should still back up now, back up often, and back up off-site, back up on-site. Use the code GEEK, and that's going to get you 10% off. All right, and oh, there we go. Now available over at Telestream is episode 6, along with a lot of the other great stuff. We use Wirecast for the video, and now the video in 720p. That's Wirecast for where you can stream. With the regular plan, I can actually hook up a couple computers. In fact, when you see the video, you'll see it on a different. It's on the laptop that it's coming from, and then a couple different cameras, and you can have more professional looking production out there with Wirecast 4, and that's over at telestream.net. Go over to Geekazine, click on the link, and that will get you to Telestream. Of course, that will help me keep the lights on. Finally, snorgtees.com. Thanks a lot for Snorgtees for some of the great T-shirts over at the 5 Tech Things you should know, including the new ones, Beware Humanitarians. Beware Humanitarians. And I know that they're running contests to think up some new T-shirts. My favorite one's right here. If zombies chase us, I'm tripping you. And there's a lot more. So check that out over at snorgtees.com. All right, we got through all of that. Let's get into your show because we've got a lot to talk about. All right, let's start over on InfoCheck. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Intel is at it again. They're shipping out the Cougar Point chipset. And the Cougar Point apparently did not have the same problems as the Sandy Bridge, so they're very confident in getting that out there and going from there. Of course, the Sandy Bridge was the chipset that had the small little problem. They had to recall it, and now they're getting everything back up and running. Of course, if you have a Sandy chipset, you should probably get that recalled. So check on that for that with that and that. That's that. What did I say? That. Anyway. The Cougar Point chipsets, most Cougar Point chipsets were found to be faulty, supporting 6 serial ATA ports that were used for connecting devices such as disk drives or DVD drives to the system. After they shipped the parts, they discovered the SATA ports on the chipset could not work. They degraded over time, so that's where the recall comes in. So if you want to read more about this, go over to it.tmcnet.com. Of course, go over to the show notes, and you can get all that stuff there. By the way, if you go to the show notes, you can subscribe to the show notes over at geekazine.com. Dell is previewing the tablet running Windows 7. This is over on Apple Insider. It's not the Dell Streak. And, of course, we saw the Dell Streak when we went out to Dell about 2 months ago. But this is called their business tablet. And it runs, excuse me. That's a sneeze. Woo. It runs Windows 7. I have to think, hold on a second. I have to take a small little pause here. Okay, there we go. It runs Windows 7. I had to make sure I wasn't going to sneeze again. So, runs Windows 7. It has the A4 SoC, the same one. I'm sorry, no. That's Apple. It doesn't say what the chipset is. I was going to say, isn't that the same? That doesn't make any sense. They didn't put much of the specifics on there. So they said that there's an Intel processor on there. I'm hoping that it's going to have something dual core into it. Dual core Atom would be great, but we'll see what happens. So they're checking. It's a 10-inch tablet running Windows 7. It's a prototype, non-working, but they hope to have this out later on in the year. So pretty cool stuff. Kind of rumorish and kind of vaporware right now until it actually comes out. So if you want to read more on it, go over to appleinsider.com. All right. Hey, if you want a job over at the Facebook, now's the time. Now is the time. And this is over on TechCrunch. Apparently, they bought the Sun building, the building that had Sun Microsystems in it. But they're basically bought the building so they can turn around and they can hire a whole bunch of people and start doing some more Facebook stuff. So if you want a job doing Facebook, I know for some of you that's like a dream job. Oh my God, I could do Facebook? No way! I'm going to see Facebook. I'm going to Facebook. I don't know. Would you take a job over at Facebook? I mean, if they said, okay, even if you're not a programmer or anything like that, and graphic design, whatever, let's say you're just a person that uses Facebook, and you said you're searching Craigslist for a job, and then all of a sudden it says we need people to be on Facebook during work hours, over at Facebook. Use your Facebook at Facebook. And it's like, no way, I'm going to do that. Would you do that? Would you do the relocation and everything like that just to work at Facebook? Let me know. Geekazine@gmail.com. I know it's kind of silly right there, but the reality is, that they will be looking for testers, and they will be looking for people that are just using Facebook, nothing else. So there's going to be a lot of a lot of jobs opening over at Facebook. So if you're looking for a job, boy, you go get your resume over there. And if you want to read more on this, go over to TechCrunch.com. Amazon Kindle is getting a firmware update of 3.1. So if you got a Kindle, you might want to go check that out. They're adding what's called a real page number feature, which it's a small change, but apparently everybody's been really yammering for it. It's like, we want page numbers. That's simple. Page numbers. Page. I need page. New page. Old page. Yeah, whatever. Sure. So anyway, if you've got a Kindle, you might want to check out the firmware update 3.1 and see if it's right for you. Of course, with firmware updates, I always tell people, unless it's absolutely critical, you might want to wait a few days to get it figured out, to see if the firmware update is going to do anything good or bad to the computer, because sometimes it doesn't always work out right. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Wait a couple days and then download the firmware update if you haven't heard any problems on it. But it's been around since Monday, so you got a day or two more, see if there's any problems coming from it. PCMag.com if you want to check out more information from there. We've been talking about driving and texting in some of the CES videos, and of course, you don't do that anymore. In fact, if your phone buzzes, leave it in your pocket. There's my public service announcement right there. But and in fact, I've stopped doing. I will at most pull out the phone and see who is calling, and then I'll put it down. But if my phone buzzes, I will continue to drive, and when I'm done, when I'm at my destination, then I will pull out the phone and I will see who called or texted me. I'm just not going to be as distracted as I was, because I started thinking about this, and it's like, I've had a phone for 13 years, and I've been texting for about 7-8 years. And I remember the old Nokias, and I'd sit there with the old Nokias, and I would sit there and I'd just kind of watch I wouldn't even look at my phone, because the raised keyboard, I could feel it. I had the tactile feel, so I kept pressing numbers, and I knew where 1 was, and I knew where 7 was, and I could do a conversation while I kept my eyes on the road. It wasn't a problem. Well, of course, nowadays, there is no tactile feel to the buttons, so I don't do that. And I just realized that it's probably not a good idea to Facebook or text or do anything, even look up a phone number. In fact, the part of the Super Tooth, they've got the Bluetooth attachment that I've been playing with, and it's worked okay. Although when I say call somebody, it doesn't do the right person. I still got to train it a little bit. But with new cars, of course, we're getting pretty much smarter cars that do a lot of other things, including Facebook statuses with your car. Now, the Chevy Cruze is one of those examples there. Of course, we saw the Super Bowl advertisement, whatever you want to call it. By the way, what was your favorite advertisement for the Super Bowl? Let me know, 608-205-4378 or geekazine@gmail.com. So anyway, the Chevy Cruze has a program that lets you update your status by voice. So you can say, update Facebook status, and then it goes, bing, and you go, I'm driving my Chevy Cruze. Yay! I don't know. Whatever your statement is. You can get that Facebook news feed to read through the speakers. You can get a cruise for $16,995, and it has 138 horsepower. I don't know. They come with a 100,000 5-year powertrain warranty, of course, and a whole bunch of other stuff, including OnStar, which is pretty cool. So, and I think that's cool because now we can text and we can Facebook while we're driving, and we can have both hands on the wheel, and the cop stops us, and we can Facebook, oh my God, cop has stopped me. And then, of course, it'll show up on Facebook, oh my God, an elephant is in the back seat. Something like that. Anyway, newstabulous.com is where we got that information. So go over to newstabulous.com and check it out. Of course, new website. If there's any problems, let me know. There was a woman that was fired for Facebook posts. Speaking of Facebook, she apparently called her boss and I don't think his first name is Dick. I don't think that was it. But she also called him a scumbag on Facebook, and they got in an argument after work, and she was fired. But she was a union worker, so and she was denied Teamster representation. And that's when everything went to the National Labor Relations Bureau. In December of 2010, they sued the company for wrongful termination. And on a statement on Tuesday, they said Sousa and AMR reached a settlement agreement. Under the settlement, basically the company will revise its internet policy. But the bottom line is, okay, if I'm on Facebook and I'm giving company secrets away, if I'm on Facebook and I'm talking about some gossip about the boss's mistress or something like that, things that might cause problems at work. If I call the boss a name on Facebook and get fired over it, yeah, I could see why suing it. Everybody is a bad, and we'll say bad name. Everybody is a bleep at one point in time. And if you don't realize that, then, wow, think about it. Nobody likes somebody all the time. There's always a good point and always a bad point. And sometimes you got to vent. Now, I wouldn't vent on Facebook. That's just me. A lot of people vent on it. I've gone into Facebook posts where, oh my goodness, get out the bar of soap. Lots of name calling. But, hey, that's what they do on Facebook. That's how they live. And you either got to accept it and move on or remove them from your Facebook. Simple as that. But when it comes to work, yeah, it gets very, 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 very touchy. But the bottom line is I don't think that she should have been fired for those unless she just basically was going on his Facebook wall and saying, you're a DICK, and doing it multiple times and being harassing about it. That's a different story. But otherwise, this is definitely wrongful termination. PCMag.com if you want to check out more. Over on TechCrunch, we say goodbye to a legend. Ken Olsen co-founded the Digital Equipment Corporation, or DEC. And so, and of course, yeah, that's a good one. Of course, yesterday he passed away at the age of 84, I believe it was. So we're gonna take this moment, just a quick second here, to remember Ken Olsen at Digital. Of course, we talk about Ken Olsen all the time in the Day in Tech History podcast. A lot of cool stuff there. If you haven't checked out the Day in Tech History, you should go over to, and actually, if you go over to www.dayintechhistory.com or dayintechhistory.com, and you can get more information. But if you want to read more about this article and about Ken Olsen and about DEC, you can go over to techcrunch.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you've asked for it, now you're going to get it. The rumor mill has begun. iPad 2, Electric Boogaloo, is in operation. And, of course, they're wondering, what's in the iPad 2? Well, hopefully, Apple's coming out with some sort of dual-core processor. I'm really, really hoping that their second version of the iPad will have some sort of dual core processing in there. I would guess it's about 1.6 gigahertz. The real question is, will it be something that you can use on a GSM or a CDMA 3G or 4G system? And we'll see what happens there. But they're definitely going to get more into it. The front-facing camera, the rear-facing camera, you can do some FaceTime with it. My ultimate tablet, yeah, would be the fact of a front-facing and rear-facing camera. I'm also hoping that Apple does do a 7-inch tablet. Now, last year we heard Steve Jobs say, no, we're not doing, the 7-inch tablets are dumb, they're dead. But, you know, Steve Jobs isn't there right now. So, you know, maybe a 7-inch iPad tablet. Would you buy a 7-inch iPad tablet? That's the question. Let me know. We'll even put it up in the poll. Would you buy a 7-inch iPad 2? Let me know at 608-205-4378. The other number, 608-205-4731, or geekazine@gmail.com. cnet.com for that article. All right, last part of part one. We're going to get you into the video and get you onto part two here. Detroit mayor had, and this is over on escapistmagazine.com. The Detroit mayor asked people on Twitter, say, hey, how are we going to clean up the streets of Detroit? What can we do to revitalize Detroit and make it look like a place where people would want to visit or even live there? And so somebody came up with a Twitter, hey, why don't you do that RoboCop thing? Had to do that for a second. There we go. Why don't you do that RoboCop thing? And the mayor goes, you know, I don't. And this is Detroit Mayor Dave Bing. Dave Bing. Oh yeah, I can see where where there's some sponsorship in this one. But anyway, Mayor Dave Bing asked the internet for ideas. That somebody said, why don't you get a statue of RoboCop in the middle of Detroit? And Bing goes, I don't think so. No, I don't. And I kind of understand. I mean, think about it. There was a lot of violence and bad stuff, and then RoboCop came, and then the Ed 209 came. And, oh my goodness, the city was in turmoil to the point where somebody bought it out, and then there was more turmoil. And then all of a sudden, Detroit was pretty much a wasteland. So it really doesn't mean prosperity. It just means that you got a cool cyber cop there. I know I'm stretching that one a little bit, but think about it. Think about it. You don't want bad when it comes to revitalizing your city. You want good things. So maybe they could put up a Hello Kitty, or maybe whatever else comes from Detroit. That's some cartoon character or something like that. What would you want to see instead of RoboCop? What would you want to see in the middle of Detroit? Let me know at 608-205-4378 or geekazine@gmail.com. In the meantime, we will try and get a statue of RoboCop. Maybe we'll put it right behind me. And you can get, if you want to donate one, feel free. Email me and I'll send you my address. Of course, once again, front bumper cover and RoboCop statue. That's what we need here at the Geekazine lair. In the meantime, I'll be looking for that over on eBay, and I will be right back. We're going to do the video. This video is called the Easy Air over on the video portion. Of course, the audio you'll hear Stitcher. But Easy Air Easy Dock. It's a cool little USB dongle that lets you do up to 1080p over a wireless system. We had two of them that we talked to at CES, and this is one of the videos. So check this out, and we will be right back on the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. Maybe.
CES coverage sponsored by Luxor Las Vegas. Get to the point. Rooms start at $40. See TPN.TV for the Luxor advertisement which is the gateway to savings.
Hi, this is Andy McCaskey from SDR News and RV Newsnet for the Tech Podcast Network. If you're like most people, there's two screens that are active whenever you're watching television. You've got something up on the TV and you've got a laptop there as you're looking at Facebook or Twitter or something else that's holding your interest as well. So, two screens, very common configuration, even amongst people who aren't technical. But if you're not technical, there is a technology that you need to be aware of that can make your life a lot more interesting. If you can use a thumb drive, if you can hook up an Xbox, USB wireless has just taken another leap. We're here with Dave Carlin at Easy Air, and he's going to talk about what's going on.
Well, here at Easy Air, we've invented a brand new product which allows you to take all the content from your PC and stream it wirelessly to your flat screen TV. All it is plug and play, a couple items, like Andy said, easy to use, easy to install, and it's the new frontier. It's wireless USB.
So if I've got a movie that I'm playing on my laptop, I can go ahead and stream that to the flat screen. What kind of a range can I expect out of this?
It is line of sight, and you can go back 30 feet.
Okay, so that's a
20 to
pretty
30
that's a
feet.
big living room, right?
Yep, in the back of the wall. It has to be line of sight and the walls.
Yeah.
It also has proprietary technology so that if you were doing a conference call and you had a PowerPoint up on the screen, the people in the next room don't know what you're doing.
Oh, they okay. Talk to that a little bit.
Okay. It has proprietary technology so that it's line of sight, so that if you were in one room and you were talking about Panasonic strategy and Sony was in the next room, they couldn't get that signal, so they wouldn't know what the heck you're talking about or seeing anything.
So you've got this consumer product that
Yep.
that moves has some business applications as well. What other how many simultaneous screens could you run in one conference room, for example?
Well, we have a business product that's very business oriented, and it's a docking station. You can run 2 to 3 monitors off a single docking station. Plug it into the dock, and all of a sudden you've got 2 screens going on,
Okay.
and up to 3.
So now, in this environment, can you be looking at, in the home environment, you could be looking at Facebook while the movie is streaming to the flat screen. How is that engaged? Is that in the standard product?
Yes, standard in the product, there's 2 modes. One is called mirror mode, which mirrors what's up on the screen off your laptop. And then there's extended mode, which is exactly what you talked about, Andy, where you can be doing your email and at the same time your movie's up on the screen.
Yeah.
Very easy, push one button.
What's the price point on this?
This is $139.
Okay, and is it available? When will it be available?
It's coming out in January. It'll be at major retailers, and then right now we have it up on our website, easyairwireless.com.
Okay, and then what's the price point on the business-oriented one?
This is 1080p, comes in. This is 720, 1080 coming out in January. This is coming 1080p already, so this is $149. We also have another new product coming out, which is called the Wireless Audio Streamer. Now, this is very reasonable. It's $69. It allows you to stream your iTunes from your laptop to a 5.1 stereo sound system wirelessly.
Okay. So whether you have video that's your primary interest, whether it's business presentations or whether it's audio, there's a solution. Where do people go for more information?
They can go to our website at easyairwireless.com, and you'll find all the information there.
Okay, Dave, thanks very much.
Thank you, Andy.
This is Andy McCaskey for the Tech Podcast Network at CES 2011.
All right, we are back. Welcome back to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast, episode number 175. My name is Jeffrey Powers. If you were watching the video, you were watching the Easy Air Easy Dock and the Easy View Plus, which sends video over USB. Basically, you got a USB dongle, you plug it into your laptop. The other dongle then plugs into a port, which then transmits it to a TV. And the one thing about this one over the other ones we saw at CES was the fact that if you were, it was line of sight, so you couldn't If you were in another room, you couldn't see the video unless you had a wireless way to see it through the wireless. So it's slightly more secure. So somebody couldn't tap in to your USB wireless signal and actually view what you're watching. So pretty cool stuff. They had audio. It started around $89 for the main one, and the audio version and stuff like that. You can go over to Geekazine, watch that full video, of course. Watch the Geekazine video, and you'll see that video as well. All right, let's get back into the second half here and then get you on your way. We're going to start over at the Daily Tech. And basically, we were using our cell phones more than we're using our computers now. In fact, they're saying in the next few years, most people might have a smartphone, but not a computer. And that's rare cases. So you'll have maybe a laptop and a cell phone, or a tablet and a cell phone, or something like that. So now hackers are getting away from the old technologies, and that's email, and they're going over to mobile devices, so they can get into the Facebook, so they can get in more stuff like that. Now, McAfee has said that the number of new malware threats on mobile devices in 2010 rose 46% over than 2009. So I'm assuming that those numbers are definitely going to be about 46% for 2011 as well. Now, McAfee said as more users access the internet from an ever-expanding pool of devices, computer, tablet, smartphone, or internet TV, web-based threats will continue to grow in size and sophistication. Google Android is being targeted by malware and Trojans. There was a Trojan that was in China that was aimed at Android devices, creating a botnet. Now you're saying to yourself, well, I'll just get myself an iPhone because iPhones are like Macs and they'll be protective and stuff like that. No. First of all, that's not totally the case. Second of all, the malware is mostly phishing scams, and that can happen on a Mac just as easily as it can happen on a PC. So it's more about getting your information. About a few years ago, somebody basically said, you know, the person, I say this, the person with the most data wins. If I can collect your data, your information, your name, your phone number, your address, the color that you like, the type of shirt you wear, how many eggs you eat in the morning, you know, if I can collect as much data about you, I can then centralize it, target it, and sell it. This guy eats 3 eggs in the morning, you know. Egg companies, you should be interested in this. Why don't you advertise to this person? Here's how much we're going to charge you so we can get that information to you. The person with the most data wins. So, if somebody fishes, they fish and they try and get your cell phone, your contacts, other cell phones, other email addresses, other Facebook accounts, other MySpace accounts, you know, so on and so forth. You get the idea. Then they can use that data to make money. And some of them will make money maliciously, like trying to hack into your accounts. Others might make money by simply collecting the data and then selling that to marketers or selling that to other people that will then turn around and hack into your accounts. So this is where it gets really dangerous. And it's not an email anymore. It's more of your personal effects. It's more of your banking stuff, especially now that we can get applications out there that do personal banking. You know, get the iPhone app and you never have to go to the bank anymore. You don't have to worry about that stuff. Do all your banking online. Now the cool thing is email spam or email malware is starting to fall down, and we knew that was going to happen. But they're now targeting the more popular things. And of course, Android phones are the most popular right now, so you got to attack them. So protect and be aware. It's just learn and understand what is good and what is bad. Don't send, you know, it's just like the Nigerian email scam. Don't reply to it. So if you know what's out there, you know how to fix it and go from there. If you want to read more on this, dailytech.com, but just be very, very, very not proficient, but understand where you're going and understand what you're looking at and how to counter it. That's the best prevention right there. All right, big news of the day. It's over on computerworld.com that we pulled this out. AOL purchases Huffington Post, the Huffington Post, excuse me. They announced plans to buy the company for $315 million. Of course, that means that they have purchased TechCrunch, and there was another one there that Huffington Post just purchased out as of late. But they've been buying the online media sites, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. There's a lot of rumors that they're going after Yahoo, and they're going to pick up what Yahoo's left off. That might be a good thing. And so there is a lot of other rumors that say AOL's back. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now the news. Let's do it this way. It's now the news source of the day. And now for the special report. AOL buys Huffington Post. AOL's possibly buying Yahoo. Okay, I had to use that again. I had to. It was a moral imperative. It's like, I paid for that little snippet right there. I can use it anytime I want. I'm going to use it now, brother. Working on some more there. But anyway, AOL purchasing Huffington Post. AOL might be back in the game. Might be back to that walled garden. You know, if you think about it, AOL started the idea for Facebook. Facebook technically is a walled garden. And a lot of other people want to go back to walled gardens. So why not AOL getting back in the game, kind of laying low a little bit, and then they're going to pounce out like a little tiger? Anyway, we'll see what happens. Right now they're buying websites. They're buying news sources. So they're getting a new network together. You know, you have like, I think Engadget is AOL, you have Huffington Post, now you have TechCrunch, and a whole bunch of other websites. It doesn't mean that AOL's totally back in the game. Now, buying Yahoo would be an interesting purchase. I don't know how that would really work with Microsoft, since Microsoft runs the search for Yahoo. Microsoft Bing runs search for Yahoo. Would they then switch from Bing to AOL search? Because AOL does have a search engine. And there's just a lot of questions. The other question is, would GeoCities come back? Let's hope. Hope and pray that GeoCities will be coming back, because we all need GeoCities. We do. We really do. Anyway, other things, like for instance, Delicious. Delicious right now is for sale. And I don't think anybody's bought it yet. At least I haven't seen any news, but there were a few days that I was out. But Delicious for sale. That might not be the case anymore if they bought Yahoo. So would it be a good deal? That's the real question right there. Do you think that AOL buying Yahoo would be a good thing or a bad thing? Let me know. Geekazine at gmail.com or 608-205-4378 or 608-205-4731. I get confused on that. If you want to call the Altiva line. And we can go over to computerworld.com. Of course, go over to the show notes, and that'll tell you exactly where to go for this article right here. All right. Last part of part two and get you on your way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the coolest at you'll ever see. You're saying, why is it so cool? Well, guess what? This is made out of old computer cases. And it weighs about 15 pounds, and it's made from, it's power supply boxes, floppy drive housings, and other scrap metal. And it turned it into an AT-AT, so it looks pretty close on surface-wise. If you look at the feet, you'll see the small discrepancies from what an AT-AT's foot looks like as opposed to this one. But they did a really good job. I mean, look at the neck. Look at the face. Look at the front. Of course, it's been all welded together, and he even put in some little scar markings on there. But that's the that is the AT-AT using just different types of scrap metal, and it is for sale on Etsy for $450. So it's probably already been sold right now. And so if you want yourself an AT-AT made out of scrap metal, this is a heavy AT-AT, then you can go over there to device.com, check it out over Etsy, ETSY. Etsy, I call it Etsy. I don't know. Anyway. So anyway, that does bring us to, ladies and gentlemen, the end of the show. I hope you had a great time. I hope you had a great time watching me in full 720p, if everything works out correctly. Otherwise, I'll probably just kind of fudge around like this. So if you have any questions, any comments, anything, geekazine@gmail.com or 608-205-4378 is the phone number. That does it for this week on the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. We will be back next week with episode number 176, because we're just crazy enough to do that. And, of course, check out the 5 tech things you should know about the day in tech history, and then, of course, the special media feed, which has all the CES content out there. Subscribe to the special media feed so you can you don't miss any of the cool content. All right, that's it for me in the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you had a great time. And we will see you next week on the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. Thanks a lot, and take care.